Hey guys, it's KJ, and this is the start of a potential new series as well as a niche on my channel, a new one, pretty much where I'm gonna start talking about anime. I don't know if you guys saw my video where I was talking about the what's it called, the island scan. I probably will start talking about some animes that I like, right? So in the island scan video, was one of the more recent ones that I published not too long ago. I had talked about doing anime as a potential, like talking about anime on my channel in the future. Excuse me. And this is gonna be like the first video. This is the first like stuff I'm gonna do is gonna be like a couple videos, all like sort of sequence pieced together about my anime journey and what animes I've been watching, you know, where it all started, how I got into anime, stuff like that. And then after that, you know, whenever I see a new volume or a new chapter of an anime, a new episode of an anime or a new volume or chapter of a manga that I'm currently reading, I'll probably do like a little mini theory on it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not too much of a really big theorist. Like, I'm a big theorist. I don't really come up with like all these big theories that a lot of the other YouTubers you see use for videos, like Roger's Base and Anime Fan Talk and Legend Mac and all those guys. Like, they'll actually like take an entire video to explain a really good theory, and I watch them and they're really good at that. With me, you know, a lot of the guys that are just starting off, you know, you kind of have to make your way making some small theories before you can get into the big theories like those guys. And with me, it's going to be more of like mini theories, as I probably explained before, where I may not dedicate a whole video to making a theory, but it'll probably be like, okay, while in the midst of talking about the anime, while in the midst of talking about a certain anime, I may say a certain theory, you know, or say, okay, maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen, but it's not going to be a full-on video. So just letting y'all know that now. But this is part one. Part 2 is probably going to be heavily linked to this one as well, because part 1 and part 2, both animes, I had actually gotten into 2 animes around 8th grade, 9th grade, or like around 8th grade is when I first started getting into anime. And the first anime I want to talk about, and this video is probably going to be just dedicated to this anime. I want to show y'all the trailer for this anime. It's really short, like maybe a minute long, just so you guys know what I'm talking about, because I'd rather just explain it in the video than put it in the title, so that way you can actually be like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about, let me actually watch this, rather than, oh, he's talking about this anime, okay, well, I know what he watches, so I don't have to watch this, you know. Might as well check it out, because there are going to be some ideas or suggestions in this video that may be like, okay, maybe I was thinking the same thing. But let's get right into it.
When Tokyo police needed a crime solved, they turned to Jimmy Kudo, an inquisitive and popular young soccer ace with hopes of being the next Sherlock Holmes. Pretty big shoes to fill. But when the young detective is attacked after witnessing a crime, Jimmy discovers that the biggest shoes to fill might be his own. Forced to hide under the alias of 6-year-old Conan Edogawa, Jimmy now looks to uncover the villains who drugged him. That, or leave it to the authorities.
You get the cause of death?
We're pretty sure it's the knife in his back, sir.
Case closed. Premiering Monday, May 24th at 12:30. Adult Swim.
Alright, so as you guys saw, that was the Adult Swim trailer for Detective Conan. And pretty much, I really, like, I'll just go with the backstory. It may look like I'm looking down at a computer, because I am, because I have to, like, type all this stuff down, because, I mean, for the most part, a lot of times I may not ramble when it comes to, like, talking about ideas, but when I'm trying to connect it to other things, it may be a little, I may need a little time, so that's when I may be like, or I may be, like, rambling on. So, the first thing that happened was, let me just look at this real quick. Alright, so as I said before, between the middle of 8th grade, around like after January, February-ish, probably like toward the middle of that year, And between the middle of 8th grade and the beginning of 9th grade, around that time, maybe before, in the beginning of 8th grade, probably anywhere from the beginning of 8th to the beginning of 9th grade, I had always gone to one of my local libraries one of the local libraries that I live near. And I was always in the teen section because I was like around 12 or 13 at that time. Sorry, speaking of computer. I was at like 12 or 13, maybe at that time. And I remembered always seeing these weird books, and they weren't like a lot of the other comic books or normal just all words books, paperbacks, hardcovers, whatever you want to call them. And I was always fascinated by it. I was always like, what is this stuff? Why is it backwards? Why does it start from the right and go to the left instead of going from the left, starting from the left and going to the right? And these were manga, there were tons of mangas there, but the one that enticed me the most was Detective Conan. This was also potentially the next video, it's going to be about Naruto, because I got into Detective Conan and Naruto around the same time, but this video is mainly just going to be about Detective Conan. So just give me one sec, let me just look over my stuff, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, thanks for letting me take that little quick break, but as we're getting back into it, so these weird books that I was seeing, something on my phone. These weird books that I was seeing were the manga volumes of Detective Conan. And eventually I was like, you know what, let me stop looking at it and let me actually pick one of these up and read it. And so they always had the numbers on the cover, on the like the side part of the book, I don't know what it's called, but they had the numbers on there. So I was like, all right, let me pick up the first one and read it and see what's going on. So I didn't read the entire first volume. I read like a couple chapters, and I was like, oh, this actually is pretty nice. I like it. So, like as I said before, I also got into Naruto around this time. And like what happened with Naruto was like, I didn't know I didn't know that you could watch anime I didn't know that you could watch anime. I didn't know what anime was. I just knew about manga. So like, what I did was I picked up like 50 Naruto volumes and brought them all to a desk and was about to start reading them, and then some kid came over and was like, hey, you know that you can watch all this online, right? And I was like, really? You can? So like, he was telling me about all these sites you can go to watch anime. So back to Detective Conan, I had found some nice sites, and alright, so originally, I don't know if you guys were if you guys knew about Detective Conan back in 2004. I was only 4 years old. I didn't know about anime, like I said before, until like between middle school and high school. And what had happened was that Funimation had dubbed about 130 episodes of Detective Conan. 50 episodes were on Adult Swim before it was pulled off the air due to low ratings. The reason why I'm saying using air quotes, I'll talk to you guys about that later. Let's just continue on my backstory regarding Detective Conan. So I started watching the show, and I had originally watched the dub all the way until like the 120s, where like it ends because of low ratings, right? And because the dubbing was stopped, I was like, I knew what subtitles were, but I didn't know what English sub was, so I never even heard of what that was at that time. So I was like, where's 120 something dubbed? Every site I searched, they never had it there. They always had the last one that I had watched. So I was like, oh. So I looked it up and I kept seeing English sub. So I was like, alright, let me see what this is. So I started watching, I continued from where I left off in Detective Conan English sub. And a lot of people, and it's not every anime watcher, but some people, like if they do one thing, they're not really going to want to gravitate to the other once they start watching it. Detective Conan was a unique situation for me because it's like, I started watching it in like middle school, high school. I had looked it up, and that anime had been around since the 90s. So it wasn't, and after I heard that they had stopped the dubbing, I was like, it's like 2012, 2013. I highly doubt they're going to bring that dub back. I didn't really know what the complications were about the dub and stuff like that. So I didn't know why it wasn't there, why they didn't bring it back and stuff. So I just was like, all right, let me watch the dub, because I had friends and they were like, yo, you watching Detective Conan? think we all were into Detective Conan. They were already like nearly catching up to the most recent episodes. I was just starting. I was only like about a little over 100 episodes in. And what it ended up happening was around like after I watched about 50 episodes sub, I kind of got used to all the voices and the characters, so I could watch sub from that point on. But like I said before, there's some people that may not want to watch, might not want to go from dub to sub or sub to dub because they just feel like they've already gotten used to the characters so much in dub, or well, mainly it's really dub to sub, because if you're watching it subbed, then there's probably going to be a reason why you started off watching it subbed. I mean, the only way you'd probably go from sub to dub is if you didn't know you didn't know they had dub, and you just started off with sub, then maybe. But most of the time, it's probably dub to sub. So, and yeah, like I said before, after I watched about 50 episodes, I was pretty much good to go. And now I actually am caught up in like the 840s. Dang, this anime is so long. I have a lot of friends that are just like, they want to get into it, but it's like 800 episodes. That seems like a lot of episodes to watch, so a lot of times they're just like, oh, well, I don't want to watch because it's so many episodes. So anyway, so the second like part of this vid is pretty much the reason why. Well, most of the people that watch this video, if you know about Detective Conan, you know about the dub and sub, you know why it was canceled. And what you may or may not know is that there are a lot of petitions to bring back Detective Conan and start and continue the dubbing of it, because a lot of people, like I said before, won't want to go from dub to sub, and a lot of people, really love that anime, so they're just like, please, just come on. And the reason I feel that Detective Conan was canceled because of a chain reaction, and that's pretty much what it was. Because of Adult Swim and Funimation Entertainment, the people that were behind all of, like, Detective Conan and all that stuff, and Nippon Television, like, they made it and everything like that. Detective Conan, I felt, was put on an inconvenient time for its viewers. Midnight, 12:30, maybe like, but I stay up till midnight every night. But you have to think about back then, you were younger. So, I mean, like, you may have even stayed up till midnight when you were younger, but still, that doesn't excuse the fact that this was primarily a kids/teen. Well, it's kids and up, because kids watch this show. There are only some things that kids would probably be scared of, and that's those like shadow figures that are in the show a lot. But other than that, it can be watched by anybody. And most people at midnight, they're either asleep or they're going to sleep. So, I mean, and even back then, I don't really know a lot of people that actually stayed up till midnight to watch Detective Conan. If I knew what anime was back then, or if I was my age back then, I probably would have DVR'd this show, because I stay up till midnight a lot, so I probably would have watched it at my current age. But think about it. It's 2017, right? So this was what's it called? This was 14 years ago. What's it called? 13. Yeah, this was 13 years ago. This was like 2003, 2004. It first came out in 2004. This was 13 years ago. This is over a decade ago. I was young. I was 4 years old. I didn't even know what anime was. So a lot of the people that kind of criticize and say, oh, it should have been canceled, oh, it wasn't good anime. You may have your conceptions about Detective Conan. I understand. But you also have to take into consideration that the reason why it was canceled was because a lot of the people back then were either too young to know what it was, they were too young to watch it, so they had an early bedtime, and then that probably led into why so little people actually had time to watch the show, Because, personally, if you really think about it, there's only so many people that are actually going to stay up till midnight to watch a TV show. At most, they're just going to DVR it, but most of the time, they may just forget about it. Midnight if once you get older, you were like, okay, I'll be reasonable. Midnight, I can watch a show at midnight. I can stay up. But personally, at that time, 2004, midnight maybe it would have been good to some people, but a lot of people probably would have been asleep, and or they just wouldn't have wanted to stay up so long to watch that show, no matter how good it was. You know. So yeah. And believe it or not, I actually did stay up when I was very young. Not when I was 4, but I just found out that Detective Conan was only on Adult Swim for a year, 2004 to 2005. So I did stay up as a youngster, but this was like 2007, 2008, when I was in like first and second grade. I stayed up, and I didn't know, I actually did know what Adult Swim was, but I could never really watch it because a lot of the shows back then were just really, I just couldn't understand what the heck was going on, so I just watched Disney Channel. Like, Playhouse Disney was where it was at back then, so I stayed up all night watching that, you know, that's where it was at. But other than that, you know, if I was like middle school age, high school age, current age, 16 back then, sure, yeah, definitely. Heck yeah, I'd watch Detective Conan. But, you know, I didn't know what it was. And back to what I was saying about it being midnight being an inconvenient time. That's the reason why ratings were so low, DVD sales were so low, and probably sales for movies were pretty low too. I mean, most of the time the movie sales, like, those are actually kind of high, because even if you haven't watched Detective Conan in so long, the movies are actually really good. You know, and there's like 19, 20 movies out now. So if the movies suck, they wouldn't be continuing it. You know, but there are a lot of anime sites that still have those dubbed episodes of Detective Conan, and then there are also all the anime sites out there that have Detective Conan also have subs from episode 1 to like episode 844, 45, where it's at right now. And I'm pretty sure that if like Adult Swim or Funimation or any other like network or company, or even one of the minor ones, like if they did a survey on how many people still watch Detective Conan or are still watching, dubbed, subbed, or catching up, most likely it would probably be a high number. I mean, I'm not gonna guarantee that because I don't even know the numbers, but if you really think about it, the show wouldn't be subbed if there wasn't a large fan following for it. Just take that into consideration. If you make the assumption, if there's a show in one place and they try to test it out in another and it doesn't do well, then they're not going to have it there. So if you look on all of those anime streaming sites out there and they have an anime, it's probably because it did well in Japan. They're like, okay, let's globalize it. Let's see how it's going to do well in these other countries. They bring it to another country, they put it on an anime streaming site with subtitles, and if it does well, they're going to continue subbing the episodes, because if they're not, if it doesn't do well, they're probably going to not do it anymore. So that's a waste of time to sub episodes that nobody's going to watch. But yeah, but like I said, if they did a survey on any anime streaming site, or practically maybe even all of them or most of them, to see how many Americans, in my case, because you know America is where it was case closed and stuff like that. So if they did a survey in America to see how many people actually watch this show, dubbed or subbed, it could possibly have a high number, you know, and that could turn into money. If they actually started continuing dubbing the show, people would actually probably buy the ratings would probably be high or moderately high, you know, because it's a show that a lot of people want to be brought back, and they're just like, they still have hope, you know, and yeah, and also, if Funimation and Adult Swim made a more convenient time for all these Detective Conan viewers, like let's say, you know, like maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, maybe even put it on Cartoon Network, or like start it early, or put it on another channel, but have it come on in like the afternoon, like anywhere from like 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That's a very convenient time. You got kids coming home from school, they're doing their homework, they're eating dinner, they're like, okay, what's on TV? You know, you have your teenagers, same thing, what's on TV, and you have most of the adults coming home from work. Maybe they're Detective Conan fans too, like what's on TV. if that was the case, if they had put Detective Conan on back in 2004, I mean, Case Closed, let me say Case Closed because that's what it was called in America. If they had put on Case Closed back in 2004, 2005, at a more convenient time, like towards the afternoon, evening, or maybe even closer to the late evening, like 9, 10 at max, most likely though the afternoon evening, because around now those times later evening, a lot of the kids, teens, whatever, they want to go to sleep or they are asleep. So more people would probably DVR or have watched it due to it being at a more convenient time. So people would actually be like, okay, this show's actually on TV. Let me check it out. You know, but it's but a lot of people are like a lot of times when there's like Funimation booths, Adult Swim, whatever at conventions, people are always asking, when's Detective Conan going to return? When's Case Closed going to continue being dubbed? Blah blah blah. And a lot of the representatives are just like, they either are just like, look, it's over. You just have to face the cruelty of reality and stuff like that. It's over. It's never going to continue being dubbed, no matter how many you guys petition it, no matter how many you guys want it. But keep in mind, but also they do have a point though. I'm not saying that canceling the dub was wrong. I mean, to them it probably was, because from their view, not many people watched it, but that was partially their fault because they didn't put it on at a convenient time. But keep in mind, all of this stuff happened over a decade ago, so it kind of be really hard to continue the dub of Detective Conan in any way. First off, you have to think of all the voice actors and cast members. Their voices may not even be the same anymore. They may be old. They may have passed away. They may have to, the directors of the show may have to even look for new voices and talent to try to fill in the shoes of a lot of the old people, because, their voices may have changed. You know. But personally with me, and this is the last thing I want to say, I feel like these companies are making a big, big mistake. A lot of it is revolving around, I mean, sure, if you look online at these petitions, maybe like, 500 petitions, 500 signatures, that's not a lot. You compare that to the Codename Kids Next Door potential revival, that has like in the tens of thousands, But you have to take into account that sure, the petition level may be low. Sure, it may be like they're not getting a lot of ground on this, on their cause. But it's still important to people, just because, but mainly these petitions probably don't have a lot of attention, mainly because they aren't out there as much. They're not, a lot of people either have forgotten about Detective Conan because it's been over a decade since it was on TV. They probably stopped watching it because it's not dubbed anymore, so they forgot about it, or they just haven't looked this stuff up, But if these companies like Funimation Entertainment and Adult Swim, etc., had actually listened to their viewers and maybe tried to work towards a compromise, maybe trying to put it on a convenient time, maybe say, all right, let's try again, 2006, 2007, maybe even a couple years later, let's try again. Let's take into account, like, if you have a problem, don't just quit and put it off and be like, okay, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore. If you have a problem, if you're not getting the results you want, you have to take a step back and see why. You have to look at all of the data. Look at why people didn't watch these shows. Look at why the TV sales and ratings were so low. The DVD sales and TV ratings were so low. Look at that. Take all that into account and maybe think, okay, probably if we had put the show on at a different time, the people may actually have watched it. Like I was saying, if they actually listened to the viewers, if they took what they were saying into account, they could possibly have rekindled the love that a lot of these fans had for this show when it was dubbed. Maybe even convince them to rewatch it or watch it again, and possibly even attract younger or newer fans of today's generation that could be like, wow, I like mystery, or I could be into horror, or I could be into humor. I like mystery solving. Detectives are really cool. Scooby-Doo is awesome. This is another mystery thing that a lot of people are into, If it could attract a lot of fans, it can bring back a lot of fans to this amazing but educational show. And you may be thinking, a lot of people that don't know what Detective Conan is, if you take a look at it, regardless if you watch it dubbed or subbed, there's a lot of stuff that you can learn from this show. like about poisonings and like certain geographics and stuff like that. Oops, sorry. And like certain just random factoids out of nowhere because the main character has like the mind of an elephant tenfold. He can remember practically anything and everything, you know? Most things, yeah. But the last thing I wanted to show you is I don't know if I might put this in there, but this probably is gonna be like a potential clip from the show to show you why I think this show is really good and why it should continue being dubbed. You know, I feel like they made a big mistake, but I'm probably gonna put a clip in there of like Conan like kicking somebody with a soccer ball just to show you how cool it is. And who knows, maybe they'll rethink their decision and try to continue this show in the future. But if I don't put a clip at the end of the video, the clip that I did put the trailer for was at the beginning. Either way, I guess yeah, I'll end it here. Thanks for watching. You know, please like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. The next episode for my anime journey is Naruto, letting you know that now. So, alright, see you later.
シロやべえ
ほら新人
見えてねえよ何やってんだ俺シロだ
やだコナン君信じられませんガキンチョが
シロって
エロガキ
あいやこれは
コナン君ごめんなさい
Alright, yeah, sorry about that, but I decided to add that clip, and I hope you guys enjoyed it because it was kind of funny. And other than that, just thanks for watching and possibly taking what I have to say into consideration, because it is pretty much everything just put together in one video, explained and stuff like that, so it's not choppy and all over the place and everything. So hope you guys like what you saw, and for real this time, I will definitely see y'all later. Also, let me just explain right now that any of the footage that you see in this video, from that Adult Swim Case Closed trailer to the little Detective Conan clip at the end of the video, I don't own those. It's owned by Funimation, Adult Swim, you know, Nippon Television or whatever, all the creators and people that are involved with Detective Conan. So, I mean, I know this may not fully protect me from a copyright strike of any kind, and I just wanted to let you guys, any corporations that may be like, okay, this guy's using footage in his video, I am giving credit to you. Any person that was involved in making this, I give full credit to you for that footage. I know that maybe I should, I mean, sometimes you have to ask permission to use this kinds of footage and stuff like that, but giving credit, I mean, it's better than not giving credit, you know. And I'm going to put that in the description too, saying that I don't own either one of those Detective Conan / Case Closed footages and everything like that, and little clips. That's not mine. It's owned by all the people that are involved with Detective Conan / Case Closed. So, just want to let you guys know that, put that out there. But for real this time, for real, I will see y'all later.